video, we'll be going over the basics of objects within JavaScript. We'll be going over object-oriented programming in future tutorials, but this video will be dedicated to focusing on the basics of what can be stored in an object and how it can be accessed and used. An object is a collection of properties, and a property is an association between a name or key and a value. To begin with, let's define a property by setting it to a variable. We use curly braces to define an object. Within the object, we can store a string. A number. Boolean values. Each of these are separated by a comma. We can store an array. We will be going over arrays in the next video. And we can also nest objects within other objects. We can access data within our object by referencing our variable name, and with a full stop referencing the key that we want to access the data under. I'm going to set this to another variable. And then I'll console log this variable. We can do this for the number. I shouldn't have put these in quotes. Now we are referencing a primitive number rather than a string. The Boolean value will be returned. Object bool. In the case of arrays, again we reference our variable name. We'll reference the array which is called array. And we can access any position within the array by typing the position within square brackets. Again, in the next video, we'll be going over arrays. Just a quick note that the position of arrays begins with 0 and increments by 1 each time. So this would be 0, this would be 1, this will be 2. So by objecting object array at position 2, we should be logging 3. Now within our nested object within our original object. We can access the data by typing nested object, and then whatever key that references the value we want. In this case, we'll reference 2. We can also console log the entire object to view that in our console. We are setting var1 to the value of object. And here we have all the information which is contained in our object. We have our array, the nested object, the Boolean value, the number, and the string. If we want to add key value pairs to an object, we can type the name of the object, the new key that we want to add. In this case, I'll type new, and then set the value we want the new key to have. I'll create our var1 variable again, which is equal to obj, and I'll log out the entire object. Refresh, and here you can see that we have a new key value pair, the new being the key and the value being, this is a new string. There are a lot of other things you can do with objects, but for now we'll leave it here. JavaScript is comprised almost exclusively of objects except for primitive data types. So this is a very important concept to get a grasp on, but as with anything within programming, it just takes practice and practical application. So as long as you have a minor understanding of it now, you'll be ready to progress with future tutorials. In the next video, we'll be working with arrays.